Hello there, and thank you for joining me today. I'm Doris Benter of Library Arts, and I'm here today to present to you a program centered around one of my favorite authors of picture books, Mo Willems. We're going to look at his classic Knuffle Bunny, and we're going to do a fun craft that you can make at home. So I'm going to read the story to you, and then I'm going to walk you through a craft. Okay, let's get started with the story. Okay, let's get started with a reading of Knuffle Bunny by the author Mo Willems. Not so long ago, before she could even speak words, Trixie went out on an errand with her daddy. There they go, walking down the street with Mom waving goodbye. Trixie and her daddy went down the block, through the park, past the school, and into the laundromat. Looks like they got some things that need to be cleaned with them too. Trixie helped her daddy put the laundry into the machine. Oh boy, is she a big help. Dad's like, yep, Trixie, I could use your help over here, please. She even got to put the money into the machine. Oh, that's the exciting bit, putting the coins in the coin slot. Then they left. Off we go. Everything's in the washer, right? But a block or so later, Trixie realized something. Look at Trixie's face. Trixie is worried. Trixie turned to her daddy and said, "Aggle flaggle clabble." "That's right," replied her daddy. "We're going home." "Aggle flabble clabble," said Trixie again. "Blaggle plabble, won't be flappy, snurp." "Now please don't get fussy," said her daddy. Well, she had no choice. Trixie bawled. Wah! She went boneless. Have you ever gone boneless? She did everything she could to show how unhappy she was. Look at poor Trixie. By the time they got back home, her daddy was unhappy too. Oh boy, look at Daddy's expression. As soon as Trixie's mommy opened the door, she asked, "Where's Knuffle Bunny?" Whoops. Trixie knows what Mom's talking about. Dad's like, whoopsie. The whole family ran down the block, and they ran through the park. They zoomed past the school and into the laundromat. Trixie's daddy looked for Knuffle Bunny and looked and looked and looked. But Knuffle Bunny was nowhere to be found. Oh dear, poor Trixie. So Trixie's daddy decided to look harder. He's pulling everything out of the washing machine. There's wet clothes everywhere. "Knuffle Bunny," says Trixie. And those were the first words Trixie ever said. And look how happy Trixie is now with Knuffle Bunny back. Okay, thank you for listening to the story. In a moment, we're going to start a fun craft that I think you all will enjoy. Okay, welcome to our fun craft, Knuffle Bunny. So this is a craft that reenacts the scene where Knuffle Bunny's lost in the washing machine. And you can see we have made Knuffle Bunny into a bit of a puppet that can be moved around. We have some elements of the washing machine here with a fake door and a little coins. We have some buttons up on top and some buttons down below, just to show off how we're going to make the Knuffle Bunny look like he's in the washing machine. Let's go over some of the simple materials you might actually already have at home that you'll need for this project today. So I'm going to put this aside so we can talk about that next step. So one of the first things you're going to want is a support for your project. This is just cardboard. It measures 12 inches by 18 inches. Doesn't have to be that size. This is basically a sheet of shirt cardboard you might get at the dry cleaners or the laundromat. Any kind of scrap cardboard measuring approximately 12 by 18 inches would be just fine. So that's one thing you'll probably want to have. You'll need a sheet of construction paper or a foam sheet. This happens to be a blue foam sheet, but you could use construction paper cut to the same size as cardboard, 12 by 18. You're going to need a couple paper plates. You're going to want a few little buttons that you might be able to use for the buttons on the washing machine. You're going to want some glue. Elmer's is fine. I just happen to like this clear tacky glue, so that's what I use. If you have some yellow watercolor or any color your child wants the washing machine to be, these Duodot dabbing paint markers are great, but you could always use watercolor and a brush. And then if you have scrap construction paper or foam sheets, those will be great for making Knuffle Bunny and the clothing in the washing machine. And the one thing that might be a little more challenging is this fluffy foam. This is just fiberfill that you can get at Joann's, at craft stores. Amazon has it, and that will create the kind of sudsy look of the washing machine inside. You're going to need a clear sheet of acetate to work as the window here. This is just clear plastic. You could even use a Ziploc baggie if you don't have clear plastic. And you'll want a craft stick for your puppet and a black marker. Alternatively, if you need to work quickly, like I often do when I'm doing programs and presentations, if you have some double-sided foam tape, really good for gluing things together if you don't have time to wait for something like clear tacky glue to dry or Elmer's. You could always use a stapler or tape. Clear tape would work as well too. So those are our supplies. Now I'm going to stop here while you gather them, and then we're going to get started making your very own Knuffle Bunny stuck in the washing machine. We're going to get started by making the washing machine for Knuffle Bunny. So you're going to need 2 paper plates. Now one we're just going to put aside because we're not going to need it for a while. The second one, that's going to be the front of the washing machine. And you'll notice it's generally when you get a paper plate, there's a natural ring in the center. That's what we're going to want to cut out. So I'm actually going to take my plate, fold it, pinch it in the center. Now I didn't mention scissors before, but you definitely need scissors, and you will need some clear tape. Now I'm going to make a big cut, cutting out just a triangle within the circle shape. I don't want to make it too big. I'm going to throw that little piece away. I'm going to open it back up. Now I can see exactly where I need to cut, and I've created a window so I don't have to cut from the outside edge in to make that window. This is going to be for your washing machine window, so that's why we're doing that. Like this. And we're going to cut that window right out. Okay, you're going to flip it over so that the bottom side is up, and actually that is the side you're going to use when your project is done. So I'm going to put a couple sheets of paper here just to protect my work surface while I work, like that. Now, this will be a fun step for your children because they're going to get to use some watercolor or the do-a-dot paints. And what you want to do with that yellow is basically have them dot all over the circle, the front of the washing machine, like this. Let that yellow make it a game. How many dots can you make? Can you count them? Can you learn about overlapping by putting one dot on top of another dot? You can rub these too if you don't want to do dots. You can just make it go a lot faster by rubbing. And that's the whole point of having this foam tip, is just being able to rub really quickly the color onto your washing machine exterior. So that really does not take that long to dry, but I'm going to set it aside. Got a couple little spots I missed along the edge, and we're going to let that dry on the paper I put out that was protecting my surface, because we're going to come back to this ring later. So let's put that aside to dry for now. Next, we're going to get that cardboard sheet. Again, if it's brown or white, scrap from a Amazon box, whatever you got, approximately 12 inches by 18 inches in portrait orientation. I'm going to put it on this side. You should have some construction paper or perhaps a foam sheet like I have here. And what we're going to do is we're going to attach that construction or foam sheet to your backing paper. Now you can use a bit of glue, a couple dots here should do it. I personally love the speed of foam tape. It's actually kind of fun for your child's fine motor skills to just put about 5 small pieces. So I have 2 down here, 3, 4, and 5. Your child's fine motor skills can be the ripping or cutting with scissors of the foam tape, and they love to pull off that green paper off the foam. Then simply take your construction paper or a foam sheet, as I have here, and just give it a good press. That is going to be the back of your washing machine. Now I'm going to, before I start with the buttons, we're going to put the back of the washing machine, which is that second sheet of paper plate. Again, I'm just doing it the speedy way, but a couple bits of glue, same effect. So I'm going to peel off some paper again, put that aside. And then I want to place this in the center of my blue sheet here. This is going to be the back of the washing machine. As I said, it's going to overlap slightly the edges of your construction paper or foam sheet, but that is okay. Now, we know where that is. We're letting that yellow front of the washing machine dry, and that's fine. In the meantime, I'm going to take a black marker, and I'm just going to draw a little skinny rectangle on the top. I'm going to do the same on the bottom. And this is just representative of knobs, buttons you might have to push on a washing machine, like that. I'm going to take some of those beads I had put aside over here. And the fun, not beads, buttons, but then again, you could use beads for this too. And a fun thing to do is to look for a few large buttons that might be great put that white one, for overlapping a brighter, lighter colored button on top, and it makes those knobs kind of pop out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that gluing right now. I'll put these two aside. I'm going to get a little bit of my tacky glue. 2 and 3. Don't need a ton of glue. This holds really well. I'm going to put this one here. I was thinking that I would put the white one in the center. This happens to have a little old string on it, because you truly can recycle an old button and use it for a project like this, and it'll be absolutely fine. So I'm going to take that string right out of there. There we go. Put the white one in the center, and I have another black one. Now, again, to layer them, just put another drop of glue on top, and top, right there. So I'll put this green one right here. I'll put a pink one here, and a blue one there. And it just gives it a little bit of a washing machine feel. So you can go ahead and do that on the bottom. And then I'm going to come back with the dry yellow paper plate. The paint will be dry. We're going to attach the window. We're going to add a few details on the outside of the washing machine front. We're going to make our Knuffle Bunny and move forward. Okay, so I'll see you in a minute. So as promised, the front of our washing machine made out of a paper plate with the window cut out is dry. Now I want to show you, this is the plastic, just you know, the kind of plastic you might find for a transparency sheet. You could use a plastic bag, like a gallon-sized bag, and cut it out. But I want to show you that that plastic should be larger than the cutout. So you'll see this overlaps about 1/2 inch of my window here. I'm going to flip it over. So we're on the white side now. And we're going to attach it to the inside of the washing machine. And you are going to need a little bit of tape. So this time I'm not using the double-sided foam tape. I'm going to just take pieces of tape. Whoops, got it stuck on there for a minute. And I'm going to tape pretty carefully around the whole outside of the window with small pieces of tape. And the reason why you want to be pretty careful is that when you put in that fluff that we're going to use to create the soap bubbles, you don't want that leaking out and getting all over the floor and making a mess. So I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to make sure that it's not bubbling, which it appears to be doing a little bit over here, so I'm going to fix that. Because sometimes you got to just sort of finesse it a little bit. Okay, that's better. A couple more pieces around the edges. Just short pieces are fine. 2 more, I think, should do it. So flip it over, and it looks like we have a nice little shiny window. Alrighty, now we're going to just draw a few fun little details. I like to just take a marker and go around the outside of the washing machine. And I'm pretending this is a commercial washer like at the laundry places that people use, okay? And then I'm going to do another circle. Doesn't have to be perfect. Like that. I'm going to put some dots just for fun. You could even put beads on here. You could leave the dots off. To me, these are like little rivets holding the metal front onto the dishwasher, the washing machine, and also just kind of creates a fun decorative pattern here. I like the idea of adding a handle, so I just draw a little handle on here with my markers. Maybe there's a little a coin slot, and I put 25 cents. And that's, again, totally optional, but that just gives your washing machine, a slightly decorative front. Now we're going to bring back the second half of your washing machine, and that is the part that we did previously. We had put, buttons along the top. We have mounted our paper plate, and I finished with some buttons on the bottom. So we're going to put that right here. Again, I'm just going to be using my trusty double-sided foam tape to attach the two together in a minute. But for now, because we need to do some more elements to put inside the washing machine, let's say that the washing machine is done for now, and I'm going to come right back and show you how to make Knuffle Bunny, some clothes. We'll add the soap suds, and you're going to have a fun little project. So see you in just 1 minute. Ready to do Knuffle Bunny. Knuffle Bunny is actually a pretty simple character to draw, so I'm going to help you draw it on your paper. This is just some lime green paper I have sitting aside. So I'm going to start by just drawing a rounded line for the top of Knuffle Bunny's head. I'm going to draw two floppy ears. I'm going to draw two little lines to indicate the head, and then we're going to come out nice and wide like that. Now, Knuffle Bunny has some sort of brightly colored features, two ear shapes that go inside of the ears, and two large white eyes. So I'm just going to take a moment and, always looking for a shortcut, I'm just cutting out the two foam ear inserts by cutting through two shapes of foam at a time. So they're the ear inserts. We need to cut out two eyes, so same thing. Why not just cut out two circles of white paper or white foam to get the two eyes? 1, 2, 3. So those will be the two eyes for Knuffle Bunny. He's got, oops, I'm going to flip that one over. There we go. He's got a black nose and a little mouth with some stitches for the eyes. We're just going to put two black pupils in there, and I'm actually just going to trace around this. Helps you to see it a little better too, I think. Very simple shape. I'm going to cut my Knuffle Bunny out, just using my scissors really quick. Won't take long at all. Come around here, get in there. And remember, Knuffle Bunny is going to be a bit of a puppet. So Knuffle Bunny is going to be movable within the washing machine after we get it all assembled. So let's just get these scraps out of the way. Going to use the same little technique, couple dots of glue for the ears and the eyes. Any glue. I think glue stick would probably not be the best for this, but other than that, I think most any other glue will do. There's insert one ear. Here is the insert, just trimming it up just a tiny bit for the other. Oh, a little bit more over here, I think, too. It'll clean it up a little bit. Here's the two ears. We already colored in the eyes. There is a little Knuffle Bunny. Now, the next thing you're going to want is that craft stick, which is going to help you to make your Knuffle Bunny into the little puppet. Now, you could easily, even while this is being glued, flip it over, get that craft stick right on the back, and just tape it with a bit of Scotch tape. Make sure you rub really well on either side, like that. Now I actually happen to have a little extra tape going over here, so I'm going to snip that off. And I think I'm going to just trim off any black that might still be remaining along the head. I'm not going to worry about the ears so much, but that's my Knuffle Bunny, right? Just a little guy here, and he is a fun little puppet. Now let's bring our washing machine back, and we're going to now begin to put this together. Oh, one more thing. Whoops, almost forgot. Of course, in your washing machine, you need to have some clothing. So before we put the washing machine together, I have a few socks. I actually thought about making them 2 different color socks. You always hear the story about the lost sock in the washing machine. But then I decided, you know what? They'll probably get lost when they come out of the washing machine anyway. So there is 2 socks. And this is just scrap. I would use foam for this, just if you want it to be a little sturdier, or maybe a little colored construction paper. This is foam. And again, just scraps I happen to have. Here's a pair of pants. Knuffle Bunny, couple socks, pair of pants. Let's make a little shirt. You could make more. These are simple little basic shapes. Rectangle with 2 sleeves on it. 2 rectangles and a V in between it makes basically a pair of pants. Okay, so there's my clothing and Knuffle Bunny. I'm going to put those aside for a minute, bring the washing machine back up, so now we can actually put everything together. So here's our washing machine. Take off the top with the window. This is where you're going to want to put some of that soft, fluffy fiberfill. Listen, if you don't have fiberfill, cotton balls. Just sort of tear apart like this some cotton balls or snip them up. Perfectly fine. This is already attached to the background. Don't have to worry about that. I want to put my Knuffle Bunny in there, along with some clothing items. Maybe there's 1 sock's down there, one's up, whoopsie. One is up here somewhere. The shirts, maybe I'll put this sock over here. The shirt's over here, and Knuffle Bunny's in the center. So then you can check it out. How does it look? Oh, I can see the clothing. I can see my Knuffle Bunny has room to move. And now, again, you can use Scotch tape. You can use regular glue. You can use hot glue. If you're home with a hot glue gun, perfect time to use it. I'm going to use a bit of my foam tape. And I want to make sure this opening down here on the bottom remains open a couple inches to allow the Knuffle Bunny to move around, because that is the game here. You have some fun retelling the story, letting the Knuffle Bunny float around in the washing machine. Your child will love it. So much fun when you can read a story and remember the fun parts of the story with a craft that helps your child to retell the story in their own words, their own language. And then you have a fabulous art project that your child is very engaged with because of the multiple media we're using in this. And there you go. Knuffle Bunny lost in the washing machine with clothing. So I hope you enjoyed this program today. I know I enjoyed presenting it to you. This is Doris Benter from Library Arts, and I hope that I can work with you again in a future program. Take care. Bye-bye. Keep reading.